Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon and this is Shannon's Book Nug. And today we're going to be talking about the 25 books in 2025 that I want to read. Let's get into it. So originally this video was supposed to come out yesterday, but I filmed this a couple weeks ago as 12 books in 2025 because I felt like picking 25 books was a lot. I was unsuccessful in my 24 in 2024, so I didn't want to set myself up for failure. So I filmed a 12 in 2025 video, and then I caved to the peer pressure. And I was sick. I have been sick the last 2 weeks, and I haven't had the energy or the voice to film a whole new video. I still don't have the energy or the voice, but this has to get done. So let's start with all the books that I want to read, the 25 books that I want to read in 2025, in no particular order, except for the first group is going to be the books that I physically own, and then books that are available on Kindle Unlimited, and then books that I will either get from my library or potentially buy on my Kindle. So the first book that we're going to talk about is The Study of Drowning by Ava Reid. This is a stunning edition that I bought at Target, and I just love everything about this book. I don't know much about it. I've heard good things. I know it is a YA fantasy romance. So I'm in my fantasy romance era, the romantasy. I want it all. There's a lot of fantasy romance or romantasy on this list. And Study of Drowning is going to start us off. The next book I want to check out is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I've heard okay things about this one, but then the second book is supposed to be like phenomenal, and as a duology this is supposed to be really good. I don't know much about this one other than there's like a nightmare or something that's living inside the main character's head, I guess. I don't know. It's another fantasy romance and I'm here for it, so I'm gonna eat this one up, I hope. Then we have House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildenstein. The sprayed edges, I love this dark green color, but what really got my attention was the art on the first page. I was at Half Price Books and I saw that art and I said, say less. I wanted to read this book. I know this is a romantasy book and I cannot wait to get into it. I know I'm going through these books pretty quickly, but that's just because I don't have a voice, and the more I talk, the worse it's gonna get. So let's keep going. Then I have Ace of Spades by Farida. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't want to butcher your name, but I have heard amazing things about this book. The very top just says, all you need to know is I'm here to divide and conquer, like all great tyrants do. I know this is YA, and I believe that the two main characters are going to an elite school, and there's a lot of things at play. So content warnings and trigger warnings for sure in this book. Then to mix it up a little bit, I have Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayburn. This is a mystery / thriller where we have older protagonists. They are Billy, Mary, Alice, Helen, and Natalie, and they have worked for an elite network of assassins for 40 years, and they have kind of tried to go into retirement, but they get pulled back in. And I've heard mixed things, but I'm still super excited to check this book out for myself and see where I land. Now this next book is a fairly recent add to my TBR. Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I bought this on my birthday. A friend sent me an Amazon gift card. Thank you. And I decided to buy this book. I just love this cover. It's a cute little character and cartoon, but this guy with the tattoos, like the arm sleeves, love it. It just says a small town sweetheart and an emotionally unavailable bad boy try to find some common ground in this chemistry-filled romance from Sarah Adams, the author of The Cheat Sheet and When in Rome, which are both books that I still have not read. This will be my first Sarah Adams book, and I hope I love it. This next one is also a really recent add to my TBR, Always Mine by Laura Pavlov. This is a stunning edition with sprayed edges, and I know this takes place in a small town. It says, don't miss the Best Friends to Lovers small town romance series taking BookTok by storm. Perfect for fans of Elsie Silver and Melanie Harlow. I have not read anything by Melanie Harlow, but I have read something by Elsie Silver. I'm actually currently reading a book by Elsie Silver, Heartless, which is book 2 in one of her series, and I am liking this book 2 way more than I liked book 1. And I am so excited to read this one. I've heard great things about Laura Pavlov. Next, we have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Romance is dead, but this isn't what she had in mind. I don't know much about this book, and I kind of want to go in without knowing too much. I know this is a romance, but it's like there's something else is going on, I think. So I'm excited to read this and give it a try. This will be my first Ashley Poston book. I haven't read anything else by this author, so I'm excited to give her a try. We have A Promise of Peridot by Kate Golden. I read A Dawn of Onyx earlier this year in 2024 and gave it 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. And I cannot wait to jump back into this series. I also have book 3 on my TBR cart. And I do plan on getting both of them read fairly quickly in 2025. This book, I might just reread A Dawn of Onyx real quick, and that way all of the details are pretty fresh in my brain because I enjoyed that book so much. Cannot wait to get back into this. Then we have Pucking Around by Emily Rath. This is a chunker of a book. I did not realize how big this book was. And all I know about it is it's a hockey romance. And in the top corner, it says, in this spicy, best-selling TikTok hockey romance series debut, one ambitious woman scores a major career goal. But when it comes to all the hot options in her personal life, why choose? I love that this sounds like it's going to be a why choose romance on top of it. I love me a reverse harem on top of everything else. So I cannot wait. Now, am I intimidated by the fact that this is almost, 600 pages? Yeah, almost 600 pages. Yeah, I am. But I'm sure I'm going to eat it up. The next one is also a chunky book. A really big chunky book. Fantasy romance. Can you guess? Got any clues? When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is also a very big book. This is almost 700 pages. Just under 700 pages. 690 to be exact. The Moonfall series, this is book 1. I know book 2 comes out soon. I love books that are fantasy driven with some romance in it. Also, like dragons. I freaking love dragons. Like Fourth Wing, loved that. Anything, I'm trying to think of other. Throne of Glass had Abraxas, and I loved Abraxas. Oh my gosh. So I'm excited to get into another romance, fantasy romance that features or has dragons. So I'm excited to read this one. All right, so the next 3 books that I have on my list are all ARCs that were sent to me by the publisher Atria, since I am an Atria partner. The first one is The Fiancé Dilemma by Elena Armas. This is the author of The Spanish Love Deception. And it says, "Is the fifth time the charm?" I'm not going to read all of it, but I do know that this is a fantasy romance book. Or not a fantasy romance book. It's not a fantasy romance. It's a romance book. And it already, yes, it came out in July, so this is already out. I am just behind on my arcs. And then another one that I have is Under Your Spell by Laura Wood. They also sent me this cute little guitar pick with the playlist on the back. Dumped by her cheating ex, fired from her dream job, and about to lose her flat. Clementine Monroe is not having a good day. It does not sound like it. So Under Your Spell, I just love the colors on this cover as well. It's so gorgeous. So I'm excited to read that. And I know this one is also already out. And then the last one that is an arc that was sent to me is Britt Marie Was Here by Frederick Brockman. I know Britt Marie, she can't stand a mess. She's got to have everything in its place. And I'm excited to read this one. All right, so the last several books that I have on my list are either on KU or I'm going to have to get them through my library. So the first several, let's talk about the ones that are on KU. The first one is going to be Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This one was one of the Goodreads nominees for Romantasy, and I am looking forward to reading Quicksilver. I have heard a lot of people talking about it, especially the morally gray male character, and I want to see what everybody's talking about. I don't want to have FOMO, so I want to check this book out. We have Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, which was also a Goodreads Choice Award nominee for 2024 in the Romantasy category. It says Caraval meets Throne of the Fallen in this spicy, dark romantasy where a necromancer needs help from a dangerous phantom to win a deadly competition, only to find their partnership puts her at risk of breaking the game's most vital rule: don't fall in love. Say less. I've heard a lot of people talk about this when it first came out. So it was a very popular fantasy romance book that I was seeing everywhere. And I just did not have the time to get it read. I will make the time in 2025. So it is on my list of books to read. Up next on the Kindle Unlimited books of 25 in 2025. And if I'm looking at my laptop, so. Up next, we have Filthy Rich Vampire, book number 2, The Second Right, by Genevieve Lee. Goodness. This is a paranormal fantasy romance. We have Thea Melbourne, who is a virgin, and she has fallen for Julian, who is a vampire, and he has made it his life's mission to make sure that they do not fall into bed together for both of their safeties. The first book, I ate it up, and I am so excited to read the second book next year. The last book that I have on my Kindle Unlimited 25 and 2025 is Goldfinch by Raven Kennedy. This is book 6 and the final book in the Plated Prisoner series. This came out in, I want to say October or November of 2024. So it came out towards the end, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it, especially because it's almost like 700 pages. What is up with me putting all of these chunky books on my list? Anyways, so we will see how this dark fantasy romance series concludes. I am so excited to get back into this story with these characters and Guys, it is dark, so make sure that you check the content warnings and the trigger warnings, because this story is, I know I've broken down crying a couple of times in throughout the series. So check it out. If you like dark fantasy romance with fae, magic, and epic love, be sure to check this out. This is also a retelling of King Midas, so check it out. All right, so these next couple of books I actually own, but I own on my Kindle. The first one is Fighting Destiny by Amelia Hutchinson. No, Amelia Hutchins. I've had this book on my Kindle for several years now, and I just have not gotten around to reading it. This is book 1 in the Fae Chronicles, and I know this series is long. Will I read the whole series? I don't know. I doubt it. We will see. I know this is a paranormal fantasy romance featuring fae, and it just says, have you ever heard of the old Celtic legends of the fae, beautiful, magical, and deadly creatures that have a love of messing with humans just for kicks and giggles? Say less. I haven't heard much about this series actually. I mean, I saw it floating around when I first got it, and ever since then I kind of have stopped hearing about it. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm going to read it for myself and find out. This is another book that I've had on my Kindle for a while and just have not gotten around to reading. So The Longing of Lone Wolves by Lana Pachurzik. This is book 1 of the Season of the Wolf. It is another fantasy romance with shapeshifters and fae. And it says at the very beginning, a beauty from our time, a fae beast from the future, a curse only she can break if he lets her close to his heart. I'm excited to read this. The man on the cover. Hello. And, you know, since I've had this on my Kindle for so long, I'm just going to be happy to get it read. Again, will I read this whole series? Because I think it's pretty long. Let's see. Oh, there's 3 primary works, 6 total. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so the next book I've also had on my Kindle for a while. Don't come at me. Like I buy these books on my Kindle and then I just never read them. It's a bad habit and I'm determined to break it this year. A King So Cold by Ella Fields. This is also a fantasy romance, dark, with fae. It says, when marrying your enemy is only the beginning. Once upon a time, there lived a princess so cruel that even her husband tried to destroy her. Wow, that sounds like a twist in the fairy tale. And the cover is really pretty. Nothing like super extravagant about it, but I don't know why this simple cover is just so pretty. I'm excited to read this one. This is book 1 in the Royals, but it looks like this might just be a duology unless this series was never completed, which would make me really mad. So we'll find out. Up next, this is a book that I'm probably going to end up getting from my library called All In, which is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is book 3 in the Natural series. If you haven't heard about the Natural series, it's kind of like a young adult Criminal Minds. If you love Criminal Minds, this is a series that you should really check out. I've had a lot of fun with this series and I'm so excited to get to know the group even better. So there's a group of young teenagers who have these abilities. They're called the Naturals, and they get recruited to the FBI program to help the FBI. They get trained to catch criminals. So each book, we kind of get to see, the first book, we get to see them come into the academy and just start learning about their different abilities. In the second book, there's a lot of twists and turns. So the third book, I'm ready to see what happens. This next book I'm also planning on getting from my library or Libby. And it was a Good Choice Award nominee for debut novel in 2024. I'm so sorry. The book is called The Truth According to Ember by Danica Nava. It's a romantasy. It features an indigenous character or characters, which I absolutely love. We need to have more indigenous characters in our books. So I cannot wait to read this book. And yeah, the fact that it's a romance on top of it. Good job, Danica Nava. Love it. All right, this next book is a pre-order that will be coming to me in January at some point when it gets released. Probably towards the end of January. I think it's like January 21st. But if you haven't figured it out yet, it's Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, which is book 3 in the Empyrean series, Fourth Wing. So I've already read Fourth Wing. I reread Fourth Wing before I read Iron Flame. Will I reread Iron Flame before I read Onyx Storm? Probably not. I had a good time reading both books. I know a lot of people did not like Iron Flame as much. I was okay with it. I had a good time with it. And I cannot wait to get into book 3. I need to see what is going to happen to some of my favorite characters. I need to see. And I'm so excited. And my last book that's on my list to read is Beard in Mind by Penny Reid. This is book 4 in the Winston Brothers series. This was actually a Goodreads Choice Award nominee for favorite romance back in 2017. And I'm so excited. Like, I just finished reading Beard Science earlier this month, and it was my favorite book in the series. And the fact that this one is a nominee for Best Romance in 2017, it's got some hard competition for sure. But this one features Bo Winston and Shelley Sullivan, who are both characters that we have seen previously. And we know that something is going on in the previous book. In Beard Science, we kind of see something, but you don't know the full story, obviously, because Beard Science is following different characters. So you know that something's going on, you just don't know what's going on. So I'm excited to read Beard in Mind and find out what's really going on between Bo and Shelley. And that pretty much wraps up my 25 and 2025. Do we have any books in common? Have you read any of these books? A lot of them are pretty popular books, so I would be surprised if we don't have at least a little bit in common. Be sure to like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. And then down in the comments, let me know what book you're excited to read in 2025. And I'll see you next time. Bye.